Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? Boy, oh boy, these are sad times in the sport of boxing today, I'm telling you, man. So it was reported about a week ago that after Jojo Diaz had promised Bill Haney on the phone that he's going to do everything he can to make that fight, and it's going to happen for sure. He said this. I played the clip for you guys many times in the past. Before that, he had a conversation with Devin Haney, where Devin Haney was calling him out for trying to fight Ryan Garcia when he was fighting for Devin Haney's belt when he beat Fortuna to become the mandatory. And that's exactly what Devin said to him. He said, how can you fight for my belt, to become mandatory and then call out someone else? And this is when Jojo, he started to call Devin Haney out of his name, and he said, I'll fight you next. So Devin said, how about October? Jojo Diaz, he said, let's make it November. Devin Haney replies, we got a deal, let's do it. And of course, how this always plays out, a month later, after Jojo goes on his Twitter, promising his fans he's gonna do whatever it takes to make the Devin Haney fight, that's the only fight he wants. You fast forward to present day, or at least about a week ago, it was reported that Jojo Diaz and Ryan Garcia are close to finalizing a deal. But Edfie Hearn, he just said that he doesn't think that Ryan Garcia is even going to fight this year. Check this clip out, guys.
So I don't think Ryan Garcia is going to fight this year, personally, right? So Jojo Diaz, this is the call out to you. What are you doing? What are you waiting for? I mean, and I know Jojo will fight anyone and he's not afraid of anyone, but ultimately Jojo was waiting to see what the position would be. Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia. Now, if Ryan Garcia doesn't fight this year, it has to be Jojo Diaz. Like, what are these people waiting for to fight Devin Haney? They keep getting into a mandatory position. They keep getting called to fight him. What's the excuse now? Jojo Diaz, the fight with Ryan Garcia, I believe he's not there this year. So what are you going to do? Right.
Okay, so just understand this, guys. You're listening to Edfie Hearn, or that was Edfie Hearn. He works with Dazn. So when this man says he doesn't think Ryan Garcia is going to fight this year, he would know. That means he most likely won't fight this year, which means Jojo Diaz has absolutely no excuse for not taking this title shot against Devin Haney. Edfie Hearn, he asked the question, what are these guys waiting for, right? Meaning all of these guys that are avoiding Devin Haney, but mainly the two that was his mandatory. Ryan was his mandatory at first. He pulled out of the mandatory spot. Now Jojo is Devin Haney's mandatory, right? So when he asks, what are these guys waiting on? Obviously, they're waiting on Devin Haney to pick an opponent so they can have an excuse for why the fight didn't happen, right? Because so they could say, oh, Devin Haney, he chose to fight this person and I wanted to fight him, but hey, I can't fight him now. I mean, what are these fighters waiting for is the perfect question. They're waiting for Devin Haney to leave the division. They're waiting for him to vacate the belt and just move up to 140 and no longer be a problem at 135. That's what they're really waiting for, because we know right now, if Devin Haney got stripped for that belt and they gave that belt to some no-name fighter, we know all of these guys would be racing to fight for that belt. Just like Canelo Alvarez, he raced to fight for that WBC belt once David Benavidez was stripped of it. No different than when Canelo Alvarez was Demetrius Andrade's mandatory at 154. A lot of people don't know that, but he was his mandatory, and the champion Andrade was calling Canelo out. He even called Canelo a bitch, and Canelo still didn't take the title shot. Soon as Andrade got stripped of the title, all of a sudden Canelo, he raced to fight for the title against Liam Smith from Europe. I'm telling you guys right now, I mean, it's one thing for social media, all the boxing fans, to be pressuring Jojo Diaz to take the Devin Haney fight, which they are. And I'm going to show you guys of what a boxing fan said to Jojo Diaz on his Twitter and how Jojo responded to this guy later on in this video. So if it's true that Ryan Garcia is not going to fight till next year, that means Jojo Diaz, if he's not going to take this title shot against Devin Haney, he's going to either sit on the shelf and just wait around for this possible fight against Ryan Garcia to happen, or he's going to fight some tomato can just to stay busy instead of once again fighting for a world title. How does that make any logical sense? And it doesn't. Now, guys, besides the obvious, the reason why it makes absolutely no sense for Jojo to go after Ryan Garcia as opposed to going after Devin Haney, Jojo would make more money fighting Devin Haney and, of course, win a world title. You know, coincidentally, this is the excuse that a lot of fans, they make when they try to defend these fighters avoiding black fighters. They always say, oh man, he's going to make more money fighting so-and-so. He would be stupid to turn down making more money. That's what you're in the sport for, right? Well, here you have a fighter that is turning down more money and a title shot to fight Ryan Garcia. I've done the math for you guys many times, but let me just do it one more time. For those of you guys who don't know, Jojo Diaz made $300,000 in his very last fight. Ryan Garcia made $500,000 in his last fight against Luke Campbell. Devin Haney made $3 million in his last fight, and he's about to make $3 million again in his next fight, assuming it's not against, one of the bigger names that are avoiding him. Guys, this has gotten so ridiculous that even Devin Haney's opponents are making double than what a Jojo Diaz or a Ryan Garcia made. Gamboa made $1 million. That means he made more money than both Ryan Garcia and Jojo Diaz made combined in their last fights. There is no way you guys can explain this situation. And for any of you Mexican fans that are sitting over here saying stop hating on them, etc., you guys should be ashamed of yourself if you call yourself a boxing fan. Because if you really, really care about this sport, that means you want to see the best fights regardless if you think your guy is going to win or lose. Even if there's a chance of my guy losing, I still want to see the best versus the best, right? I mean, have you ever heard someone say, man, I don't want to watch the Super Bowl because my team might lose? No, you don't care what the odds are. You want to see it, and you can't wait to see it. But it's different in this sport because boxing is tribal. Therefore, a lot of fans, they feel when their guy loses, their country loses, their race loses. And this is the reason why boxing fans are being cheated out of the most meaningful fights this year that could have took place. I mean, just think about it. If it wasn't for reluctance of losing or letting your people down or whatever the case may be, we would have got a lot of great fights this year. We could have got Devin Haney versus Teofimo instead of Teofimo versus Kambosos. We could have got Devin Haney versus Jojo. We could have got Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia. We could have got Gervonta Tank Davis versus Ryan Garcia. We could have got Devin Haney versus Rolly Romero, right? Now, the only thing I will say about Rolly is there's a possibility that he will fight against Gervonta Tank Davis. And if he gets the Gervonta Tank Davis fight, then he's taking leaps over all of these fighters that are afraid to get in the ring with undefeated black fighters. There's no reason to sugarcoat it. Call it what it is. Because all of this stuff can be backed up with facts on the internet, right? All of this can be fact-checked. The only good thing about this situation is social media puts a lot of pressure on these fighters for doing what they're doing. You can't avoid social media. Jojo Diaz is now threatening to slap boxing fans on the internet because they're exposing him for avoiding Devin Haney. And if you notice in this tweet, Jojo Diaz didn't disagree with anything this guy said to him when it came to him taking less money and fighting for no title against Ryan Garcia rather than fighting against the champion Devin Haney. His only response was, "I would slap you," and how he would fight both of those pussies in the same night if he could. I mean, look at this message right here. This guy said, "You'd rather fight Ryan for less money and no belt. That speaks volumes. You are a disgrace to the true Spanish legends. These new age Spanish boxers are weird." Weak with a bad case of Twitter fingers. I'm telling you guys right now, social media is a game changer. And it has completely ruined Teofimo Lopez, Jojo Diaz, and Ryan Garcia's reputation. I'm not including Rolly's name because, like I told you, he might fight against Gervonta Tank Davis next, which you can't criticize that fight, obviously.
Get ready to take your striking game to the next level with the Focus Ball. Dramatically improved footwork, timing, head movement, hand-eye coordination, reflex, and overall fight IQ. It's lightweight and extremely portable, so you can train every time, everywhere. When you don't have a coach to do mitt work, get a Focus Ball. When you don't have a heavy bag to hit, get a Focus Ball. When you don't have a sparring partner, get yourself a Focus Ball. And when you just want to have fun punching and kicking, get a Focus Ball. When you train with the Focus Ball, you train your eyes and your brain to read punches so that you can hit and not get hit, making this very simple device a must-have for all combat sports athletes and enthusiasts alike. So if you want to take your striking game to the next level, don't wait. Get the Focus Ball now.
All right, now check this out, guys. If you're looking to repair eczema scars, burns and bruises, dark spots and blemishes, then this right here is the perfect product for you guys. It's called Elo Diki Face and Body Oil. Athletes and top-ranking boxers, they're also using it after training to reduce swelling, inflammation, and to ease the pain. So get yours today. Go to elodiki.com, like them on Facebook, and follow them on Instagram.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is the big day. SMPs at Scout Carolinas. I need a real restoration. This is my makeover right here. So,
fellas, I've got some great news for you. If you've lost your hair or have a receding hairline, the time has come when you can finally get your hairline back through a process called scalp micropigmentation. So here's how it works. It's a hair tattoo that replicates the look of your hair follicles when you have fully shaved it down. So to get this hookup, make sure you follow and contact my man Scalp Carolinas on Instagram.
What's up, everybody? This your boy Tony Flow Knight. Hey, make sure y'all go download the new album at www.shelltown5records.com. That's www.shelltown5records.com. Flames is all we got.